I see you. What are you doing? How'd you get here? Did you complete module 5 before you got here? There's no way that you just jumped here. The only way that you could possibly be here is if you've watched every single video up until this point. You know what this means? You've been showing up for yourself for 6 modules so far, 5 complete modules, almost 6 weeks. Who knows how long it took for you to get here? You had to complete everything just to get here. You're in the final week, the final module of Beyond Sober. I'm so proud of you. I'm so insanely proud of you. I can't believe it. You could have been doing anything. You could have gone anywhere. You could have invested your time over here. You could have just been Netflix and binging. But no, you've been practicing drinking water. You've been practicing taking care of yourself. You've been investing in yourself for weeks. Who knows? Maybe it's been months. The point is that you're here. And we get another chance to take over the world. Yes, you and I get a chance to literally transform our minds and become superhuman. Yes, I'm growing right here along with you. You think it's just your journey? What are you talking about? I'm learning from you. You're learning from me. We are making magic happen. I'm so stoked for you. I'm so seriously excited. With that, if you don't have your water, please get it. If you need a reminder, just like this one, get your hands on one, okay? I'll leave all those links for you. The point is that this is where we practice literally taking our lives to another level. You've already seen the results. You already know what's happening. You've already been practicing. You know what happens when you give your energy to the right areas. You know, you've seen, you've felt, and you believe, and you get it. You know, you've been practicing new thought processes. You've been talking to people. You've been communicating with yourself and with other people in different ways. You've done it. You've been doing it. What's stopping you? Nothing. But this is where we get super deep. This is when we take everything that you know and take it to the next level. We're going to build that super suit for you, right? Together. It's going to be magic. It already is magic. I'm so excited for you. With that said, let's talk about this for 1 second. Here's what we're going to do. We've already been through acceptance, what that means. We've already talked about module 2, about life being habitual, meaning every single thing in life is built around habits. Good habits, bad habits, unhealthy habits, and healthy habits. Then, number 3, we were talking about developing new healthy habits, starting with drinking water. You're the best at drinking water, right? Then in module 4, week 4, we went back to the future. That means we talked about your past. That was probably pretty rough. That was intense for me, right? Going back there, reliving it, reprocessing it in a healthy way. I can only imagine the conclusions that you came to. And then last week, we talked about how to 10x your success, right? You thought it was good then. I'm excited for you. We are in a life beyond sobriety. And one of the main things that we're going to talk about right now is recognizing our faults. Now, this is one of those things that a lot of people have trouble with, recognizing your fault, recognizing when you're at fault, recognizing if there is something that is your fault. We talked about accepting and owning up to the things that you did or are not doing. And once we accept that information, once we recognize those faults, we know what to work on. A perfect example is you recognize that you have a fault in your habit, whether it be alcohol or drugs or unhealthy thinking, whatever that is, you've recognized your fault. But how do we position ourselves to get really good at recognizing our faults? And more importantly, what happens after we recognize our faults? So we're going to dive into that right now. Recognizing our faults, you are the king or queen of your empire. You are your only enemy. This is your world, and nobody can stop the life you truly want to live. You are the one in control, and only you can hand the key to your empire to somebody. That means me too. I can't take the keys from you. It's your world. Think about this for 1 second. Can you take the keys to my empire away from me right now? In order for that to happen, what would actually have to happen? I would have to hand you my emotions. I would have to hand you my world. I would literally have to first off let you into my world, trust you, and then give you the keys to my world. Nobody can show up. Someone can literally walk through the door and hit me in the face, and they still wouldn't have control over my empire. They might be able to inflict some damage. They might be able to help me feel a certain way. I might be in pain for a little bit, but that doesn't change my world. That doesn't change your world either. As a matter of fact, if you feel something right now, this is because you've allowed me to affect your world. You gave me the keys. You've trusted me since day one. You trust me so much that you're still here. That is the proof. That is the power. You've recognized your faults. You own your faults. You get it. You got it. No one can hold anything against you. Nobody can make you feel anything. Nobody can take anything that you've created for yourself away from you. Yes, they could take the water bottle away from you, but they can't take your feeling away. They can't take your progress. They can't take your solutions. They can't take your strategies. They can't take your emotions. Everything that you've done before, during, and after becoming beyond sober, working on a life beyond sobriety, that is yours. Who are we still waiting for permission from people? Who do you need permission from? You need permission to live your own life, your own world. It's your empire. My empire is based on kindness and empathy and compassion. What is your world built on? More importantly, what do you want it to be built on? Do you want it to be built the way it is? Are you satisfied with the results? You've been getting incredible results. Do you want to magnify that? Who do you trust, if anyone, with the keys to your world? They're your keys. There's only one set. You might let people in the door, but those are the people that you respect. Remember, you don't have to accept everybody just because they're an authority figure, just because they may have invested in you at one point. That doesn't mean they have the keys to your world. It's your world. I can't stress that enough. Your world is in your mind. That's your reality. That's how you choose to interpret. It's how you choose to respond. It's how you choose to react. Now, with that same concept, we also have to realize that other people are allowing us into their world too. They hold the keys to their world. So we're going to think vampires. We're not going to go in unless we're invited. If we're not invited into someone else's world, meaning if they're not trusting us with the keys to their world, then we're not welcome. And that's fine. We don't have to be welcome. We don't have to show up for the party. Just because they're throwing a massive event in their world doesn't mean we're obligated to show up. The point is that the keys go vice versa. Now, if you're friends and your family and you guys have an honest exchange, you can trust that person with the keys to your world, then it's okay to hand the keys. Invite them over. If someone's inviting you into their world, remember, they're complimenting you. They're inviting you. They're trusting you to add value to what they've created for themselves. They don't offer it to everybody. And if they did, that's kind of shady. But the point is that they're offering you the keys to their world. That's something to be respected. That's when you really start to see how powerful you are. Because remember this, we only offer the keys to people that we trust, love, respect, and appreciate. And if someone's doing that to you, for you, they're doing the same thing for the same reasons. Not everything is obvious. Study your actions until you see the patterns. The most important thing you'll ever learn to do is study yourself and become who you are, not who you think you know. Become who you are, not who you think you know. Just because you know this version of you, which is a better version than before, just because you think you know, it doesn't mean you have to keep contributing to that. You want to study you. Why is that something that I say? Why is that something that I feel? Why do I keep coming back to this? Why doesn't this make sense? Why doesn't this feel right? You study you. You really get to know you. Write it down, right? Even right now, if you got a pen or something, you can feel free to pause this and go, what am I feeling? What is it that he's saying? Is it the hope shirt? Is it his sideways hat? What is it? Is it the drink water? What is it? What do I like? What do I dislike? Have I enjoyed myself all the way up until here? Do I feel empowered? What portion, at what point of going through this did I really start to realize that I'm in control? When we look and study ourselves, you got to remember this. Your whole life is study. Your entire world, until the end of time, is getting to know you. But we've already accepted us. So now that we accept us at our worst, at our best, at our mediocre, We're just getting to know who we are, what we've created, what we are, the sum of everything that's ever happened to us. So getting to know you, remember this, you want to become someone that you want to get to know more of. And that's what you're already doing. You're investing in yourself. You're investing in your future. You're taking care of you, and you're unlocking things about you you didn't even know. We want to continue doing that and breaking that apart. What about this is so intriguing to me? I didn't know that I could do that. I didn't know that I was interested in this stuff. I didn't know that that was going to be my thing. This is why I say not everything is obvious. So, for instance, a perfect example is I meet people all the time. I'll be working with an entrepreneur and they're building their business and we're working together on designing a product or a solution. And I go, you're a really patient person. And they go, really? I say, yeah. No one's ever said that to me. It's obvious to me that you're a patient person, but to them, that's completely blindsided. They've never practiced being patient. That never stepped into their mind because they're not in a place of study. But now that I tell them that they're a patient person, what happens is they look for reasons for that to be true. Remember this? We're looking for reasons, justification, validation that we are happy, that we don't want these bad habits, that we don't need to drown ourselves in alcohol, that we want to expand our horizons, expand our mind. We want more information. We're thinking objectively. We're thinking scientifically. We're in a growth mindset. Give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. The more you do, the more data you have to break apart. This is why just sitting here isn't going to get as many results. This is why we want to get out and do things so the unobvious, the things that are not blatantly in our face, pop out, right? We'll talk about self-auditing too. Self-auditing is when you recognize that you're about to have a bad thought or you actually had that bad thought, but then you cut it off and you realize what you were going to get out of that. You've been down that road. You don't do that anymore. That's because you're studying you. That's because you're making the things that have been hidden obvious to you. What's obvious to you isn't obvious to other people. And what's obvious to them might not be obvious to you. It's a trip. And this is why we put ourselves in a place of study and expansion, right? Self-auditing is a practice. Knowing what is at the end of the road is the quickest way to turn the right direction. Paying attention to your decisions is the ultimate tool to recognize the indicators that drive your momentum towards success. I was just talking about this. You see how I get ahead of myself? I'm already thinking down the road. I don't even know. I could barely even read this over here. I can see certain key points, and those key points are bringing up certain things that I know, that I've studied, that I've practiced. Self-auditing, okay? This is literally the practice, right? You'll start to recognize yourself. You've probably noticed this as you've been practicing for the past 5 modules, is that you do something and you go, I know exactly how that's going to play out. I know exactly what they're going to say. I know exactly how I'm going to feel. And then you go, no. I'm doing something different now. We are doing something different. I'm not doing the same thing as before because I'm going to get the same results. So for instance, I always like to go back to the concept of judging. Because I'm fit, I recognize when people who are not fit. Now, because I practiced being a narcissist most of my life, I was in a place of judgment, meaning I was judging people every time I saw somebody. Every time I looked at them, I was placing a judgment, which is natural behavior. Just as long as you're not doing anything horrible with that judgment, you're good. Oh, real quick, we're drinking water. You see what I'm saying? With that, one of the things I realize is as soon as I start to feel like I'm judging somebody, I rerun an affirmation. Make sure you get your hands on the affirmations if you haven't done so and haven't been practicing already. Look in the resource section, look throughout the modules, grab your affirmations, and start practicing those things. Write them for yourself as well. A self-audit is going, I'm judging someone. Oh, right, that's right. I do not fear judgment because I'm not a judgmental person. Eventually what happens is you stop yourself from that thought because you've practiced reminding yourself that you're not a judgmental person. You've practiced reminding yourself that you're becoming a healthy version and it's okay for you to mess up or to feel like you're not moving forward at times. It's a part of the process. You've given yourself the space and the leeway to grow, right? In a self-audit, you know what doesn't work. You've been doing it for so long that you know that if you think that thought, do that thing, you're going to inevitably get that result that you don't like. That's a self audit. That's when this happens over time. If you're here, you've already probably seen that and felt that, and probably, hopefully, commended yourself, gave yourself a round of applause and said, that's not even a thing anymore. A lot of people have been getting results and not drinking alcohol or not practicing that bad habit in week 1. So you've had weeks and weeks and weeks to practice these things, and you're probably starting to see those results. Super duper powerful. All right. You begin to see your struggles in other people. Over time, you begin to recognize that what you used to struggle with in the actions and thoughts of other people you choose to surround yourself with, and you don't have to relate to their trauma. What's so cool is as you start growing, as you continue expanding your mind, you start to recognize all the things that you used to have struggles with and problems with in other people. Remember, the people that we choose to surround ourselves with at this point are people that are contributing to our health, our happiness, our success, our abundance, our gratitude, our empathy, all of that stuff. And if they are not contributing to that, then they're considered what we call a toxic person. It's someone that we either give less or no attention to. If it's a parent, if it's a friend, if it's a family member, if it's a colleague, whatever, if they are not helping you move forward in a healthy way, then they're either helping you stay put or they're putting you in a position to consider going backwards. That's not what we do anymore. We're not doing that. We're not surrounding ourselves with that. And so here's the thing. As you're getting healthier, you may and will see the things that you used to struggle with in other people. This puts you in an authoritative position. For instance, how do you think I built this entire program? How do you think I sat here and recorded and did all these things? I recognized where people were and then designed a specific blueprint to get them out, to get you out of that thought, that mind, that feeling, that redundancy, and move you into something new. But I had to live through it first. I had to go, oh, okay, my knowledge is now experience. That experience is now wisdom, and then I'm sharing my wisdom with you. In the same way that you are in a position to look at other people and go, I used to do that too. And because you recognize what that is, that puts you in a position to go, I know how they're probably feeling. I know what they're probably going to say. I know how they probably feel about that. And because I know that, this is what I can expect. And you don't have to react in the way that you used to. You can react in a healthy way. This is why if you're in module 6 right now, you've done some work. You have begun your transformation and you're already starting to feel it. And if you were looking for validation, this is it. This is you look at what you've been doing. You could have done anything. And you're here. You're examining yourself. You're exploring the possibilities. You're uncovering things that you forgot you even knew. You're doing things that are not necessarily familiar, but things that you want to add into your life in a healthy way. Because you're doing that, you're recognizing what you're leaving on the table and what other people are actually picking up. How cool is that? That is super amazing. Only you can hold yourself accountable. Nobody needs to save a superhero because a superhero is actively saving themselves. Superheroes show up for themselves on a daily basis and find reasons why they are superheroes. Think about this, man. How many times does a superhero need to be saved, right? We look at that and go, they're indestructible. They are constantly helping other people. They can only help other people in the ways that they understand their own strengths. Even superheroes need wake-up calls, but they generally are in this place where they very rarely need someone to point it out to them. Superheroes practice self-auditing too. Superheroes look at themselves. Superhuman abilities. You think of like Spider-Man, he goes, whoa, I got these fingers, I've got these things, I've got these tools. What do I do with it? How strong am I? And then he practices. He's climbing walls. He's doing all these things with his superhuman strengths. And he's starting to recognize all this incredible things that he can do. And just because he knows that he can do that, he doesn't need validation from other people. He doesn't have to show people all the cool things that he can do. He looks at his superhuman abilities and go, I'm Spider-Man. I'm Superman, right? They look at themselves and go, I got me. This is why, for instance, if I'm in the gym and I'm doing something that's very abstract, if you've ever seen videos of me, you'll see everybody else just kind of doing all this typical gym stuff. With me, I'm doing backflips and I'm climbing on the ceiling. I'm up on the walls. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm doing superhuman stuff. I'm doing things that other people are not doing because they care about what I think. They're literally just doing these. They're not even expressing themselves because they think that I care. I don't. I care about them, but I don't care about what they're doing. Superhumans like yourself, we do things to be honest, to be real, to be authentic, and thoroughly express ourselves at all times as much as superhumanly possible. And then as we do that, we start to find more reasons why we're more powerful, stronger than ever before. Right? This is the stuff CEOs do. This is why they have a workflow. This is why they have eat certain foods, brain foods. This is why they have regimens set up. This is why they go to the gym. This is why they focus on their fitness and their mental health and their programming. This is why they surround themselves with very powerful people. I mean powerful people as in people that help them move forward, help them get more results. Not powerful as in they have money, but powerful as in the mind. They're intelligent human beings. You become the 5 people you choose to surround yourself with. So if you're surrounding yourself with highly intelligent human beings, then what's going to happen is you're going to take on all of those superhuman traits. So I want you to study yourself. I want you to practice. I want you to look at your faults. I want you to recognize where you're weak, where you feel you're weak, where you feel you're strong. Write down what makes you superhuman in contrast to how you used to feel. And then what we're going to do is practice finding reasons why you're absolutely correct, why you are superhuman, why you are taking your life to the next level. And we're going to use that information to guide our behavior so we do more of what we love and more of what's moving us forward. With that said, I'm so proud of you. We are going to move on to the next video, but not before. Cheers. Let's go.